this is what we're tying today. I'm sure there's something out there just like it, but I kind of came up with this just now on the vise. I just wanted to tie something flashy, so I'm using feathers from a hen of ours. We raised chickens, and the hen died. I plucked off quite a few feathers of different kinds, and I'm trying to utilize all the different types of feathers on my flies. And here I've used two different types, one for the casing and a different kind for the legs and the tail. And they're really pretty feathers. She was a pretty bird, but she was very flashy. She was loud, obnoxious, kind of pushy. And so I figured I wanted to tie something that was a flashy fly, something kind of an attractor, because that's just kind of who she was. So kind of honoring her with the fly, using her feathers. This is what I came up with. It's kind of based loosely on a rainbow warrior, which is a great fly. And then I added a few other things to kind of change it up just slightly. So there we go. This is what we're tying today. Let's get to it. So we're going to start by putting the hook securely in our vise. And the thread I'm using today is Vivis 10-aught in red. It's kind of like a hot red. It's a bright red. I'm going to start the thread with maybe about a hook eye length back from the eye of the hook. Bring back a couple wraps. You can snap or you can snip off the thread. And we're going to bring this back as far down as we possibly can into the bend and back up one. And she has quite a few different types of feathers, but here's one that I really like. It's kind of modeled here. And you can see, I mean, it almost looks similar to like a wood duck, but I mean, not quite as pronounced, but I think that'll work out really well for this fly. So what I'm doing is I'm just stripping off all the fuzzies on the bottom here, so we've got something to work with. Here we go. And then we're just going to gather the material for the tail, which is going to be, a couple of these fibers. I want it fairly sparse, that might be too much. Right there is good. And then I'm pulling them out to align the tips. Pulling that off. And again, this is not in any particular fly. And I want a pretty short tail. I don't want anything real long. So that's about right. Just like that. Perfect. And we're just going to wrap this all the way back up. Keep that taper going. Try to keep that right on top of the hook. So we'll pull it up to right about the top here of the hook, right before the bend starts. And these are pretty much constantly curved, but alright, so we're cleaning this section up. I'm stopping right there. And I've got this copper wire in small. We're pulling off a section. We'll tie that in right about there. And then I want to make sure that this is fairly flat. So I'm going to I spun that counterclockwise to flatten out that thread. I'm coming down to the start of that tail. So next I got this saltwater size Flashabou and Pearl. This is based on the rainbow. And if you ever watch the original tire of that, he talks about how it's important to use the thicker stuff because that is going to be more durable. It won't come apart. We're going to wrap that down and then back up, trying to keep as much of that taper as possible. Here we go. So now we're going to wrap this up the hook shank, and it's going to create a sort of a ribbing effect. Alright, so then we capture it like so. I'm going to pull it back a little bit just to ensure that it stays on there. Cut it off close. close as we can. That wasn't perfect, but now I'm just gonna rib this, going the same way, right under each one of those wraps to enhance that ribbing effect. And it's going to help keep this somewhat durable as well. All right, so then we go over it once, pull it forward twice, wrap in front of it a couple times, over it, and then in front. And that should lock it into place where we can wiggle it off, and there we go. All right, so let's bring back the thread right about there. Now we're going to make a wing case, or start the wing case. And for that, she's got these feathers here. These are her longer, like, wing feathers. You can see still mottled, but a little bit darker. And I'm going to pull off some of the bottom ones here. They're a little shorter, harder to work with. There we go. So I'm going to line the tips and pull those off like that. Now I've got the butt ends here. I am going to cut off the fuzzies, or the squirrelies. I'm going to tie it in the butt section like so. Oh. Do a pinch wrap, keep that locked in. And that's okay, we're building a little bit of a head here. There's the top of the wing case. Let's come back just a wrap or two. 3. Okay, so we're right about at the hook point. And then here I've got UV2 fine and dry dubbing. And I've got the Hendrickson's pink. I think that's going to work well for this. It's going to be a little bit flashier, a little bit lighter, though. It's not going to be really bright pink, but I'm going to add that since we're using a red thread. Kind of be nice look. We don't need a big head, but we're going to form something there. All right, so we dubbed that on. I'm just going to create a nice little kind of dubbing ball. Now let's do better than that one. A little fatter in the back and then taper up. There we go. And then I'm going to take that same feather that I used for the tail, clip off the tip. I'm going to pull back all the fibers except for just a couple, like so. Maybe a little bit more. We don't need that many. We're going to make the legs of this. There we go. That's what we end up with. I'm going to lay that right on top. And I'm going to make 2 light wraps. I'm going to pull this. I actually need to pull this back just slightly. Oh, we have too much. There we go. I'm going to lay that right on top. Make 2 wraps. Use your thumbnail to hold it. Alright. I'm going to pull the wing case up and over. Like so. We will capture with 2 wraps. Okay, and then we can take this and we can pull this to make those legs the right length. You gotta be careful. I don't want to break it. There we go. Or pull it out. Yeah, that's about where I want it. Right size legs. Alright, so make 1 more wrap and then we come forward. Wrap in front. Like so. And then we can come in with some super fine point scissors. Get all these fibers cleaned up. Now, we're gonna have a little bit of fuzziness no matter how fine those scissors are. We still gotta clean up that head. But that's good because we want to form a nice bright little head. Now we can whip finish. Oh. Get those fuzzies out of there. Here we go. Cut that off close. Good looking little fly. Now, I probably could have done a little better here. I didn't do great with the back end. That didn't come out perfect, but you know, perfection is not necessarily what I'm always going for. I'm just going for something that'll fish well. Nah, I'll probably never fish this fly though. It was fun to tie using her feathers. So now I'm going to use some head cement here. I'll show you guys what I'm using in a second. I really love this stuff. Just going to shine up that head. You just cure it with your UV light. So this is a UV curing resin. It comes with a little handy paintbrush. As you guys saw, it's Solarez's ultra thin. And there we go. That's a flashy little fly, kind of perfect for representing her, kind of, with her feathers. She was a flashy thing. She really was. Here we go, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for coming along. And if you guys haven't already, please check out my sponsor, Risen Fly. Sorry, that's upside down. They made the scissors I used today, the hook. They sell a lot of different hooks and rods and reels and a whole bunch of stuff you could use for fly fishing. And everything that they sell is really high quality and really great price for the high quality. So go to www.risenfly.com. And what's even better is they're offering a discount. So you just type in McFly at checkout when you go there, and they'll give you 15% off of your first order with them. So not only do they have great prices already, but it'll get even better with that discount. You guys are really going to enjoy their stuff. If you guys like this kind of content, please subscribe and hit that bell notification for future video updates. Also, if you could hit the like button, it would really help me and the channel out. So I will see you guys on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.